Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Sel. Yes, I am threepup, and I will be your host for the rest of this incredibly stacked RPG block. But yeah, first off, welcome back to Prevent-A-Thon 5, raising money all weekend for Little Warriors, and I'm already hearing word that our incredible tech team has already prepared our next run. So let's head on over to Pitioss for Final Fantasy 15 80%.
Oh, thanks for having me, friends. Those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Pitioss. I get attached to this game pretty much everywhere. I bring it with me. It's like a constant companion. I brought Cubs with me because he was the only person available for this. I do believe we have Japanese restream though. Yes. So Niro-san arigato. Niro-san sugoi desu.
So we're going on a bachelor trip, right? We're on a bachelor party. That's what we're doing.
This is a bachelor party that goes quite poorly.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is what it is. But I assume we're ready.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So I'm just checking some notes, making sure. But yeah. So this is going to be run on normal difficulty, and I have just done a nice fresh relaunch because there are a lot of things that happen in the run that I have to just give it a nice clean start. So I am ready whenever you are. You want to count it down?
3, 2, 1, go.
Excellent. So believe it or not, I don't remember the name of the song that plays in the beginning of this because I've never heard it before. 6,000 hours in this game, still don't know what it's called. I jest.
Good old DMCA.
Yeah, basically.
Warning? Yeah.
Basically. Don't worry. I think I can hit that on my end actually if you want.
Probably can't hurt. It is a very good song though.
Is it a great song? Is it a great song, Reliant? Anyway, all right. So I'll try and relate this to the movie buffs in chat. Anyone ever seen a Guy Ritchie film? Very well-known producer, director. But his style of storytelling is he starts at like the end and then fast forwards you back to the beginning and then you kind of catch up. That's basically how this story works. So we're going to start out here meeting one of the final bosses of the game. This is Ifrit, who, Lord have mercy. But yeah, so this is kind of like your little introduction to the fever pitch of Final Fantasy 15. Now, unfortunately, because this isn't any percent speedrun, you're only going to get about 40 minutes of gameplay. So, I mean, make the most of it. Unfortunately, about 2 minutes of it is pushing a car, because I guess we don't understand what money or gasoline is. I don't like. I get the concept.
Look, you got to just change your oil every now and then. So if you forget, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty like on clockwork for that. I will say, motorcycles though, that's tricky because there's like no insulation really. You kind of actually have to do it. Like you can't be like, 3,000 miles or 6 months. Now it's like, yeah, you one or the other.
Okay, something I want to bring up that you mentioned. You have completely destroyed this game over the last couple of years. What have you done to Prompto in this cutscene?
So I've had Prompto just like randomly not show up before. Sometimes he'll just not be in this cutscene. I've had Gladio not in the cutscene before. I don't know. I really don't know. And like, I'll be honest, I don't think anyone else has run this as much as I have to see if it's just like something weird happening to me specifically, or if it's like something that can continually happen. Rial, who is a really, really, really cool runner from Japan, has been doing even more work with this. Unfortunately, I spent the past week and a half trying to get really comfortable and kind of break down a lot of the newer, faster strats, and unfortunately it's just not ready yet. And like, I apologize. I put as much time into it as I could, but like,
hey, no apologies. This is a final send-off to this route.
Yeah, basically. Because like, I normally run it like right now. I have a controller in my hand. I have a spare number pad in front of me, and my keyboard and my mouse, and they all get used in this run. The joys of multiple inputs. So we're gonna talk to Cindy. She's gonna give us this really handy thing called a map. You know, I'm quite old. I don't know about chat, but like, so when I first started driving, my grandfather got me this thing that is a really big sheet of paper, but it folds up really small, and it was like pictures of like the roads around me.
Oh, you mean that thing in your pocket now?
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, that thing that has an app devoted to it.
Multiple at that.
Yeah.
Okay, shenanigans are happening.
Yeah. This game's pretty funny. It doesn't really like it when you open menus and close them really quickly. So within the first like 4 minutes of the run here, I have now convinced the game that I should be able to move while I have a menu open. And what I'm going to do now is, because we have technically 2 menus open, I'm going to smash them together, and now I can access, like fully access the menus.
Okay, so we're on the Royal Edition. Was this present on the original game, or was this added in the Royal Edition?
So that's a good question. You can do this in base game, but because of how the Royal Edition and Windows Edition work, you can't do like the big shenanigans at the end of the run, because they just don't exist. All right, so I'm gonna play my favorite game, where I just ignore everything. I've been working on ways to like explain like just what exactly this is.
Small warning, wait, there will be a loud audio explosion here in about like 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah,
just
like 30 seconds or so. The best explanation I can come up with is what glitch we have active is considered a temporary menu glitch. So the game is in that weird transition of, it thinks it's paused, but it's not. And by cycling, boom, incoming. By cycling back and forth between these menus, that's literally all the sound that was muted for the past minute. While I'm cycling back and forth through these menus, it's basically refreshing Nox's status. So in a sense, we have like quasi infinite MP for movement. And don't worry, there will be other interesting things that we can do. Considering the game thinks it's paused, I'm just now going to roll through what would be an invisible wall. You know, because as one does, if this game has taught me anything in terms of any percent, it's honestly really true. It has a lot of life lessons. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, whether there's anything in the way or not. And back when we actually talked to people, being rude and getting them to leave us alone was the fastest, and kind of gave us what we want. So,
but as Prompto says, how could you say no to Miss Cindy?
She's a nice lady. Don't get me wrong. I like her just fine. That's a Jesus Lizard reference. If anyone has ever listened to them, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, so the textures are a little bugged out here, if just slightly. The floor isn't actually the floor, and Keos is just trying to avoid falling far enough for Noctis to lose control and roll on the ground.
Alright, that should be good. We'll pop this up. So, I need to actually have another menu up while I'm interacting with our favorite chocobo tender here. But I gotta time this right. This is Wiz. Wiz is a great guy. Unfortunately, his chocobos are having a real struggle currently. That goes there. You do the hokey pokey. That gets slide to the left, slide to the right. Yeah, that looks good. I'll take that. So, we have a menu open during a cutscene. And to be honest, modern games really don't like it when you do stuff like that. So, we've now moved all the way, basically halfway across the game map with the menu open. So, our position is somewhere. And while I've also had the menu open, I've rearranged a bunch of my inventory multiple times while in a menu in a cutscene. So, the game's going to be real normal about it. If you take a look down there, I went from having the bog standard 120 MP that one has at level 1, which has now skyrocketed to 283. Again, as one does.
Yeah. Slight improvement.
Yeah. I'm going to grab 4 of these kite shields, an air step sword, which is actually really neat. It's the only thing that continually gets used in every of the speedruns. Those 4 shields will come in handy later. But if you now notice, I have an interesting set of weapons, including 2 extra end post-game weapons. Due to this neat little thing called the weapon swap glitch. Because Final Fantasy 15, like many other games, stores its inventory in tables, because it's how one would store data in tables. It gets really confused when you have the ability to change the order of those tables when you shouldn't, and it can't update. So what it does is then actively moves it down based by how many items have moved. And with the items that I equipped, moving everything by 4, which is the number of great swords and kite shields, or two-handed swords and kite shields that I've purchased, I've ended up with some pretty high-powered weaponry. The other thing we have here is a neat little thing that you can try out at home. You don't need to do anything special besides just mash really quickly. Is ZCB, which is zero camera bug, which is actually, again, something that's quite common in a lot of games, especially ones that allow you to swap between first and third person. And it's basically, we just reset the camera. And it resets its like 0 coordinates. If anyone's like super familiar with like Fallout speedruns and like center on cell, think of that but contained in a first and third person setting. So this is Deadeye. We like Deadeye, I guess, when Deadeye cooperates, because Deadeye gives us the ability to get chocobos. However, given the shenanigans that we've pulled off, unfortunately, I don't actually have the ability to move Noctis. I can jump, attack, and roll. That's it. Can't change his direction. Unless you're in first person, open the camera really quick, aim where you're going, close it, And again, just really weird. I don't understand why the game does this sometimes. But what I am going to do is I'm going to save and load because, you know, I like playing this game. I would actually like to play this game, believe it or not. So we're going to load in here, and it's going to reset everything. And now we'll loop back to why I called it a temporary menu glitch. If you notice, all of my inventory is back to where it previously was. Oops. That should be there. Like I don't have my special weapons anymore. The menu, I can't menu and move at the same time. They were just temporary statuses. But good news, we have an even better version called active menu glitch, which doesn't go away when you save and load, and the only way to get rid of it is to quit the program. And I swear nothing silly is going to happen. I swear on Cubs meeting all the rest of our donation incentives out of his own pocket and kindness of his heart that there is no ridiculousness beyond this point.
Yes, perfectly intended by Sakaguchi.
You wanted to say Miyazaki.
I mean, no, it was about to be Miyamoto. I'm like, wait a minute, wrong series.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, Nomura and Miyazaki definitely have things in common, though. I don't think I can make that joke, so I'm just gonna let it go. Anyway, this
Nomura's
is
too busy writing another Kingdom Hearts script.
You know, after all that movement and wacky tech, I decided to go back to the Chocobo post in a much more pedestrian manner by walking.
Glad to see y'all made it back in one piece.
Yeah, this is like there's a joke about playing the game the way it's intended. Not this speedrun. Nope, not even close. Okay, so you wonder, well, Kios, why are you going to get Chocobos? Chocobos can do one thing that, at least in this version of the speedrun, the party can't do. And it's a very interesting thing, because it's like one of the only things that has, like, continuously been, like, inconsistent with Final Fantasy protagonists. I'm trying to think what Final Fantasies can the main character or the party swim? 10, 5,
I think 10-2.
10-2.
That
Might be it.
might be it, yeah.
It's really weird. Can you swim in 14?
I don't know, I don't play it.
I don't play it either.
Yeah,
I heard there's a
Anyway,
trial, but no.
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until the morning because, you know, I like it when it's nice and bright out. It definitely has nothing to do with silly don't look at it. There's nothing to see
That's
here.
fine. It's perfectly intended.
Yeah,
100%.
just as the devs intended. So I'm definitely going to not abuse this by burying this under more menus.
That was about a bite to eat.
So anyway,
Taco
welcome
with
to...
the incredibly strong boost right from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, there's actually like one of the interesting things that I've actually like really enjoyed about this game is like how overpowered the food buff is. Like, yeah, as a speedrunner, or like it can get like kind of annoying. Like, yes, Ignis, I know we can camp. Yes, Gladdy, I know we can camp. The food buffs in this game are literally game changers in terms of like damage and output. So I went and sorted my inventory again. I'm going to get us up to 10 two-handed swords because we're going to weapon swap again. But I am going to do some quick menuing here. I have to get air step, which is pretty important for our movement. Chain Fury, which basically is like a combo plus move. I do have to get regroup in order to get enhancement, which is bar none the best ability in the game, like hands down. We're gonna get first shot for Prompto as more of a positioning thing. And then I have to make sure everybody is equipped right. We'll put enhancement on Ignis and put him into his fancy suit. I need to swap that to the top dagger. This is going to be the bottom kite shield and the bottom handgun. I'm going to put a stamina badge on for safety here. So the stamina badge is really, again, casually, it seems like it's not really going to be like the most useful thing ever. But not running out of stamina is more than just, you know, like sprinting in this game. It actually also determines how long you can point warp, which is a really neat mechanic where you can basically just like evac yourself out of like the active combat area and just hang from like a really high perch. And what's really cool is that helps you, it basically refreshes your MP, allows your healing to kick in. Given the things that I plan on doing in this run and the fact that it's in a marathon setting, I definitely want to kind of give us like a little buffer just in case anything goes wrong or I get unlucky. But hey, if we have any donations or anything you want to push it, now's a great time because I'm just taking a stroll through this totally rendered in area that is definitely intended for me to be here. See, it even says Kios is allowed
Are
to.
now level 2 Chocobo, by the way. We leveled up.
True.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm loving all of this totally normal intended things that are happening right now. But real quick, I did want to remind our viewers at home that Prevent-A-Thon 5 is in support of Little Warriors, a Canadian-based charity. Your donations are processed in Canadian dollars, but if you live in a different country, your donations will automatically be converted for you. To see a recent rate of exchange for US dollars and British pounds, you can type exclamation point rate in chat. And while you're out there donating, make sure you put your donation towards our open incentive for this run to go do a bonus dungeon after the run. You all want to see more Final Fantasy, right? I know I do. So make sure you get those donations in. Make sure to apply them towards the incentive.
It's definitely not a speed run of what Ashen showcased 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, if you saw Pitioss Ruins at RPG Limit Break, yeah, this is it's gonna be like, what was the estimate for Ashen? I think was about 30 minutes. What's your estimate here?
If I don't mess it up, it'll be about a minute 35.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah, that's a bit of a difference, yeah.
Listen, here's the wild part. I don't do anything that involves this. To be honest, I'll probably like straight up reset the game because having any sort of active glitches makes it a little bit more difficult to work with. But yeah, it's that is actually not as the game intended, but I'm not using any surreptitious methods to do it. It's just a little bit of really good timing and visualization, I'll put it that way.
The fact that Square decided to put a platforming dungeon in an open world RPG,
I mean,
that certainly is a choice.
I'll put it this way. From the outside, it sounds like, yes, that's a horrible idea, because yes, it is a horrible idea. But the fact that there's like at least puzzles and like kind of brain teaser riddles to it is at least mildly redeeming.
But you got to get there first.
Yeah.
Which involves landing the flying regalia, which is impossible.
I have not done it in over 2 years. You'll never guess who did it first try. It took me longer to remember how to get the flying car than to actually land.
I think I tried to land there once, crash, and said, "Yeah, no, I'm good. Never trying this again."
You got to hold the brake, give it full flaps, go as low as you can, and then hit land. Like, basically, my aim is to, like, getting into that dungeon is I want, like, the butt of the car to bounce off the top of, like, just the tail edge of that lip, like the retaining wall. Works every time. It's still panic-inducing. Yeah, I mean, 14 has that massive, like, puzzle jumping platforming tower. I don't know. Sometimes platforming is really cool. Sometimes it just go play a Mega Man game.
Thanks for the ride.
All right. So anyway, here's what we needed that chocobo for.
Yeah.
Chocobos in this game can swim, which is really cool, considering, you know, in all honesty, it kind of makes me scratch my head. The king who, sorry, the prince, he's technically the prince. We're still in chapter 1, okay? Still the prince, who loves fishing and spending time on the water, can't swim. That seems like, I don't know, it seems kind of bad, no?
Well, you're getting just close enough to not have to fall in.
Is that like drinking
that's where the
Baileys from
issues start.
That was an old Greg reference. But yeah, no. So this, you were asking about the original version of the game. This is where it breaks down. So if you're thinking, well, Kios, what are you going to do? You're going to swim all the way back to Insomnia? Insomnia doesn't like, it doesn't exist unless you have like the Arden DLC and like, well, you're right. Unfortunately, what we've been doing all along since this run started is just setting up for a wrong warp. You've been bamboozled. I have got you.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all that it is. That's everything that's happened since the start of the game, minus buying the weapons, has just been to set up this wrong warp to get us into Insomnia.
How this even exists? This is... I will never understand how people even find this, much less it exists in the first place.
I don't know. Here's the worst part. You've seen the new strats for this. It's the same thing, but when you smash into the water, you have to warp strike once, attack once, and then hold forward for 45 seconds until Noctis drifts to the same exact point. It's...
Look,
I know.
I still can't get over the part where you have to get turned into a toad by a Naga. That's the part that gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, true. There's enough hair gel that Noctis is probably positively buoyant as well. Anyway, I'm just going to make a save right here in the ocean. Right into Ochin. Totally fine. Totally normal. Nothing's going on here.
I'm sure Noctis will just be standing there when we get back.
Oh, totally. Totally fine. Totally easy.
Real quick while we're loading here,
Go ahead.
because I really want to see that dungeon incentive, Matt, and I also love starting discourse on the internet. I want to hear everyone's favorite Final Fantasy game. If you want your favorite Final Fantasy game read out loud, make sure you send in a donation. Make sure you apply it towards that bonus dungeon incentive. My favorite Final Fantasy is 12.
I thought it was Kingdom Hearts 2.
That's the secret answer, yes.
12 is beautiful. A reminder that TZA is a great way to experience that game. Anyway, hey, I've loaded into the end of the game. Again, no shenanigans whatsoever. Exactly as intended.
It's amazing. We just left home 20-30 minutes ago and we're back. So we had a great trip, right? Great bachelor weekend.
I mean, what's really weird is it's been about 11 years since we started that swim for everyone and everything except Noctis. And believe it or not, that's actually a really bad thing.
Yeah.
You're not my dad, Reliant. So a lot of time we'll go off Three Pups discussion of discourse. A lot of time there's discourse about games that are this glitch heavy are, oh man, that game's so jank, it's so, you know, ew, it's so broken. Oof. That's actually a problem. I am actually going to have to take a load here because I double tapped by accident. So we'll just get to see that little opening intro again.
You lose control at that point, don't you?
Yeah, the weapon swap doesn't work. Unfortunately, having very sensitive buttons on your controller, not good when they act up. It's fine. It's just more time for donations. But as I was saying, you know, you find a game that's this glitch heavy, obviously it's not programmed right. No, it's programmed right. The reason why there are so many ridiculous glitches in this game is because it's coded so well. We have so many things to try and work around because the game has fail safes built into it constantly. Like just for the final boss fight, there are 3 fail safes that we have to get around in order to just finish that fight. Noctis has to be the correct model and age, so it's technically a separate model that we have to get loaded in. He technically also needs to have the Sword of the Father, which we don't get, so we have to figure a way around that. We also need to have the entire party in the throne room. Again, we find a way to kind of work around that. How many controllers have I gone through? Running 15. Less than I have with Nier Automata. Say what you will, however you want to, but Nier Automata is a controller eater, whether from gravity assist or just actual wear and tear. All right, let's try this again. That's the only mistake of the run. I'll be totally smitten as a kitten. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to sort my inventory. I'm going to equip my Prince's Fatigues, and then, as Gladio sinks into the floor, I'm going to equip my exosuit.
The exosuit was an interesting choice to add into this game by Square.
You know, I definitely agree, but I think it's also really good for people that maybe action combat or combat in general just really isn't their thing and they just want to explore.
That's fair, but the limitations on using it is... It's still a 24-hour cooldown, right?
Yeah. But it is 30 minutes in combat. Do you know how incredibly long that is?
That's fair.
Like, even in the non-skips and ladders version, we still have exosuit left over at the end of the run.
I've got something to show you.
I will say now there's a very small percentage chance that I just got incredibly unlucky and we get to do this all over.
The king returned to reclaim his rightful seat on the throne.
I think I'm okay, but I won't know until a little bit from now.
Well, we've got a moment while Core is just kind of walking through here.
Cover your eyes, kids. It's about to get bright.
Yeah, game doesn't like this.
Nope. Thankfully, that's all I needed.
But threepup, if you've got anything, I think now's a good time for it.
Yeah, we got love coming in for this run, which is $25 from the Naki Emmy that says, considering how broken this game is, I've got to see how messed up this Pitioss Ruins bonus run is. Good luck, Kios.
Thanks, Mom.
And then we also have $15 from Chocobo. Hi, Chocobo. Saying, I want to see the dungeon. Work. And with that donation, we have met our incentive for that bonus dungeon run. Thank you so much, everyone, for your donations.
Yeah, thanks. We'll go to the
All right,
dungeon.
chat. I'm gonna start a fight here.
Okay.
Chocobos, Que or Wark?
Name Our objective is
I'm a quaggerly myself.
I like the noises these ones make. But I also like how evil the ones in 12 look.
I'm the guy who actually likes Crazy Chocobo from 13 too, so I don't know what to say about that.
I'm just gonna do a little extra menuing there to cover my butt.
If we're talking about Evolution, I don't know, chocobos, the red chocobo always haunts my dreams.
You know, a Chocobo casting Meteor will do that.
Yeah, the level 99 red chocobos. One of my quote unquote favorite parts, the very few times that I ran TZA plat percent, was you have to do trials mode because it's honestly one of the easier ways to fill out the bestiary. That fight actually goes down incredibly quickly. I forget what the strat is, but it's like surprisingly innocuous. But like if you get caught with your pants down and you're asleep and you don't catch like one of them, it just evolves into like a tar pit of pain and suffering that is nigh inescapable.
16 has the rainbow chocobos with Meteo. Those little buggers.
They scoot
But
the boot.
as I say, we got a friend. We're gonna play with the doggy, right? That's what we're gonna do.
Yep, actually, Doggy's kind of cooperating, which is pretty nice. This is Cerberus. If you've not played the extended edition of this game, this is what replaces the Behemoth King. It is a two-phase fight because we love multi-phase boss fights, don't we, chat? Sure do. Ooh, is it gonna actually be kind? It will. Okay. Now I feel bad for not starting my timer. Well, it doesn't matter. I had to reload already. Anyway, that's Cerberus. Everyone say goodbye to Cerberus. And that's why enhancement is really good. Enhancement is basically a one tech bar charge that lets Ignis just give you elemental damage that your enemy is weak to. So it's pretty free, as the kids would say.
Look, we'll see Cerberus again in Hades. It's fine.
Yep.
All
Get
right,
up on the Hydra's back!
So, if this area looks familiar, yes, we're back to where we were about 35 minutes ago.
Eh,
Back to the start of the game.
I remember this. Everyone's clothes are a little bit different, but it's all good.
Everything's still on fire, though.
Stop, drop, and roll on your fancy mech suit.
It's like marathon tech in a nutshell. Everything is on fire and you're just trying to survive.
Yep. Anyway, you want to see a teleporting Gladio? Shoop.
Look, he may be built like a linebacker, but he's got the speed of a safety.
Listen, those edge rushers, man, they're out of control these days. Also, as a kind of new fan to sumo, 150 kilogram men should not be able to move that quickly and delicately. It is terrifying.
All right, so Ifrit, we went through phase 1 and now we got to fight phase 2, right?
Yep.
Right.
Fight is in air quotes. I'm going to fight him realistically.
There will be attacking.
This is fighting. What would you consider this if you walked up and saw it? This is fighting.
There is another explosion coming shortly, just as a heads up.
Yeah, it might be. It depends how long this kind of goes. He's kind of not helping me out here. Okay, there we go. We'll take the drop.
So the goal here is to get one of our party members up into the throne room. And we're just hoping that one of them spawn up there instead of, staying on the ground.
Well, that's bad news. There are 3 little lights down there. This is why I stamina badged, because sometimes, like, realistically, there could not have been a better setup. What we want is actually Ifrit to be back in this corner with us, and we want him to still be in combat with us, because that gives us access to this little area up here and allows our party to spawn in. Whether they're going to or not, we'll find out here. I'll give them a couple extra seconds to figure their lives out. There we go. Gladio's up there. So
I think I saw 2 even.
Yep. We'll take Gladio. He's just really trustworthy. And if you know where this area is, this is the area right before the final fight of the game. So if you're having questions, listen, I was not a super big Onosato fan, but I cannot deny the absolute skill. That kid is so talented. It is terrifying. However, I'm still very upset with JSA about Hakuo. Okay, so this is where the real fun shenanigans are going to begin. I am in the throne room, but I am still in a fight. I am now going to deload where my party is. Hopefully, Ifrit. This might be a problem. Thank you. This is still gonna be a little dicey. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, no, just we're in the throne room. No,
Yep,
no,
now
no,
we're
no
underneath
shenanigans
it.
happening. Everything's fine. And we're
That
now
is-
out of the throne room.
Yeah, that is more difficult than it looks. I am now officially out of combat. But you'll notice there's still some battle music playing. And I have my party outside of the throne room.
Much farther. Well, shall we?
Yeah, this skips the three wise kings fight that was added in the royal version.
Yep, that's all gone.
Those are not short fights.
I mean, they're not awful, but that's still faster than doing any of them. So if you're wondering what that was, we literally have just skipped the entirety of the Ifrit fight.
Whichever you like. Then it's set.
Note that I said skip. We didn't finish.
No back.
We skipped.
Yeah.
And because we
Ifrit
have no
shall have
photos,
his
because we
revenge.
haven't saved, it just skips that. You'll notice what we have going on here. Noctis is in a very weird outfit, and my party just had a moment. But Noctis is technically wearing 2 different outfits at once while wearing none outfits. So I'm going to put another one on him really quick. So this is kind of like when like you have a kid and like they want to play dress up or whatever, and they have 7 layers of clothing on.
Look, it's 12 degrees and we want to go play outside in the snow. That's all.
I did take off the stamina badge, but that's just because I have faith in myself to totally mess this up. Ugh. All right, let's try that again.
This is 13 point warps, right? Do I have the number right there?
Something like that. Plus or minus, while refreshing. Oh,
Just trying to get
One
enough
over.
height and dodge Arden to get over an invisible wall here.
yep. And to be honest, I don't have the ability to turn my camera around, so I have to kind of do it like that. So it's a little bit rough. Excuse me. Thank you. And if you... Oh.
This mission's going to take a
It's been decided.
Dude, I just got Goldberg.
somewhere.
Arden decided he wasn't done today.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
Furnace, when you boys good question. You got it.
Okay. So, you may ask yourself how you found yourself here. This is not your beautiful house or your beautiful wife. That's my wife. What are you doing in my house? Get out! I'm calling the police. No, but what we do have going on here is, if anyone remembers, when we made it to the Imperial base, instead of just kind of like turning around and doing my thing, we went upstairs and talked to a guy named Yosef. Now, what Yosef has us do is infiltrate these fortresses, like you can do in the base game. However, there's a little bonus as to why we do that. Arden, what are you doing? I'd need him to like fix.
You know, for a guy who did everything for us, he does his best to avoid us the whole fight.
Yeah. Well, that's because his character model is still all the way back in the arena, but as it's designed to chase us, it still kind of can't figure out where it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we start that dialogue with Yosef because it brings Core over here, and because we technically enter that fight without clothing on, for some reason, that loads in our older character model that we need to actually finish the run. So, because, of course, another multi-phasal boss fight, nothing can be easy. I need to be nice and delicate here and keep an eye on my damage.
Yeah, shoutouts to Core having 5,000 HP to get us through this, by the way.
I'm just going to play it safe here and not ruin it. So here's some more fun stuff. Because of one of the other things I mentioned earlier, we need a very specific weapon that we can only get through story to finish this run. And that is the Sword of the Father. Considering we've skipped literally the entire darn game, I don't have it. And what the game does at the last phase, at the last second, the last fight, where you realistically, honestly can't lose, the game wipes your inventory. Except for the Sword of the Father. So what do we do about it? Well, this is what we do. We have to leave the menu open and fight with the menu open. And you'll also notice I've swapped, I swapped my outfit while I was waiting for some very unknown reason. That brings Core into the final fight, which is really strange. So I have to leave this menu open until we're technically in combat again. And you'll notice, like, I have a full inventory. I have 4 weapons I can choose from. And they're all about to go bye-bye. And that's it. So start to get ready on time here. And if you want, we can leave some of the ending stuff up because of just how absurd it is. And I just have to mash the button a few times. When you see the shield, it is time. Right about now. GG. That went way less worse than I thought it would. Oh yeah, remember when I said remember when I said I just skipped Ifrit? I just skipped Ifrit. I didn't beat him. He is still active.
He's come for his. Yeah, you can hear Core versus Ziffer in the background, by the way.
And his throne is still there. Just doing its thing. Don't worry, I've also cloned my entire party. And Core. They're standing in the background. And in the foreground.
Ifrit's just doing spins. He's having fun.
Oh wow,
over there.
that's actually a new one. I've never seen him just having. He's not having a good time there.
Can we blame this on the Dragon Engine?
You know what? Sure. This is probably Tendo's fault.
Like everything else.
So I heard we have a dungeon to run.
Dungeon, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
In the amount of time we're gonna spend in there.
Cool. You want me to just boot that up? Or do we have any donations we want to touch on or anything else?
Yeah, you can go ahead and boot that up. But while you do, I just really quick want to announce that we just opened up an exciting new incentive for $110 raised. Our next runner for our upcoming Utopia 100% run, Von Ivan, will bring his IRL pup
So this is farewell.
onto the camera and give her pets for at least a minute.
Here we are.
I'm excited.
love
I
Bonnie.
have seen a picture of this pup, and y'all, like, take it from me. I'm threepup. Like, I know these things. This is a really good girl, and you need to see her. So please get those donations in and make sure you apply them towards that incentive.
So are you three pups in a trench coat?
Pronto.
That's on a need to know basis.
Fair enough.
I wanted to get Ferret Cam up, but I realized I would have had to add a bunch of like plugins to get like my camera that I use for it. And I was like, let's just. I was struggling enough.
That is a hell of a beard Noctis has grown in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, we grew up, huh? And there's like the other party.
Go to
There's all of
And
our
Core,
party.
yeah, Core just standing there.
All right, I am going to give this the old close down, and we'll get this bonus dungeon up and running. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging around for that one. Sorry it wasn't perfectly clean, but listen, this game and I have been we've been slugging it out.
Yeah.
And Cubs, you can certify.
Yeah.
We've been slugging it out for the past 2 weeks with everything.
With
So
everything you've done to this game over the years, is it possible to do anything clean at this point?
honestly, I don't know. Like, I honestly do not know. All right. So, because I was definitely super prepared and didn't delete my Pitioss save and didn't have to make another one this week, I would like to welcome you all to the Pitioss dungeon, or at least the start of it.
Can you start the stream share again, please?
So yeah, I said like what, 3 minutes or something like that. So fingers crossed we get this in the first couple of attempts. The timer can start once we actually like hit the button and start going down. Okay, so nothing super fancy here. I'm just gonna throw on this outfit just so I have like a little bit better visibility. I just have a standard, like a sword and daggers. Like, it's really all I need. And I have to
Before
wait
you get started, can you start this Discord screen share
Oh,
for
yeah,
me
yeah,
again,
yeah.
please?
I can definitely do that. Oh god, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Everything's paused. Pause works the way it's supposed to. There we go.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? Hi, Freda. You're adorable. Okay. So, everybody ready? We'll see if I can do this. And
It
three.
just doesn't look the same. Go ahead. No, you're fine.
All right. Let's go.
I was gonna say Noctis doesn't look the same without the cup noodle hat. Ashen has spoiled me.
Yeah, I know. But for those of you that have seen this before, yeah, it is a bit of a platforming puzzle dungeon with all sorts of switches and levers and pulleys and all sorts of, pretty dangerous things that can end up resetting you. Now, me and this pillar, we're going to have a good discussion here. This is like my favorite pillar. It's been so good to me over the years.
It's your buddy.
Oh, love it. Wouldn't leave it for the world. Except when I do actually need to leave it. I'm going to pick that up because I will inevitably pick it up by accident and miss my jump. But, like I said, this is not really a glitch, to be honest. Noctis gets a cool little speed boost when you refresh his stamina. And if you time it right, well, with that and a little bit of a dagger attack, you can just bridge the gap. So.
One
Oh,
thing.
no. Game, why you do this to me?
One thing you never touched on. Why are you jumping all the time?
It's literally just faster. It's just faster. Unfortunately, I do have to set this all back up again, but meh. Shouldn't be too bad. And I guess on the plus side, there's now nothing that can get in my way besides, you know, a game's physics engine. What could possibly go wrong, right?
No comment. Look, putting jump and pickup on the same button was the choice.
You know why it didn't really get caught? And it's a more simple reason than you'll ever imagine.
Okay, I was gonna say they just didn't jump, but
Now, what's the Japanese button for confirm?
oh, ha,
Yep.
yeah, that will do it.
Unfortunate. So I lost a little bit of the momentum I was looking for there. We get to do it one more time. Actually, let me be really smart about this. So there is actually one of the reasons I restarted the game is because AMG allows us to menu while we're moving. That doesn't actually help me. There is a neat little trick with this game where if you open the camera and close it really quickly, it just cancels all animations. Yeah. Japanese layout is very similar to like the Switch controller, where circle or the rightmost face button is confirm, and then the one down and to the left. Yeah, it's a simple thing that happens, unfortunately, and you know,
Definitely
really
doesn't
catch it.
take me far too long to remember every time I go back to 7 and
Yep.
then other games.
My apologies. I'm just off by like the tiniest of a fraction here. Okay, so maybe 3 minutes was a little bit tight. I had more confidence in myself than I thought I would. That looks better.
Look, hey, it's all Noctis's fault in the end.
To be fair, it was actually the warm inner's fault. Never actually picked those up, but they made a fool out of me today.
All right, we got this.
Yep, I just gotta park it right up in there. My man's making an absolute bologna and cheese sandwich out of me right now. Yeah, I mean, even in this game, you actually have, and actually quite a few games I've seen, especially from Square Enix, there is an option straight up in the settings called confirmation, and you can just swap your confirmation button. But you know how muscle memory is, so I never bothered with it. Wow. I'm getting goosed. We used up all the luck in the run. Ah, well.
Look, that server is
Alrighty.
fight.
Yep.
It's that fault.
Everyone lend your energy to Kios.
Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna have to bring this large pillar into my bedroom. My wife's gonna be like, babe, why do you have a 16-ton pillar in the bedroom? Well, listen.
Listen, this is, you know, deadly contraptions aside, this is actually a hell of a marvel of architectural.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I would absolutely turn my basement into this if I had the space. Oh, that was on me. That I will own up to. That should have been the one. Unfortunately, your boy got antsy. Got too excited. See, Ashen had it lucky. He got to do it the way the devs intended, not landing on 1 foot wide I-beams. The correct answer is the sword, though.
It's just the juxtaposition of running against the wall with the giant ceiling of spikes coming down at you right next door.
I mean, I would just call that motivation.
Fair.
Okay. We win. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So now all I got to do to get the heck out of this dungeon is just climb this little pillar right here. Short that jump because, you know, it'd be really funny if I did it just for a joke, you know, because this game always has to get the last freaking laugh with me. Nah, just take my time, line it up. Got one more jump to make. The easiest.
Don't pick up any of the items.
The easiest one to make, and despite my failings, we did it.
Oh,
Hey.
GG.
GG.
Hey, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean, but you know, it's been really, really warm out. So.
So, you solved all the puzzles?
Sure did.
Yep, fair and square. Solved them all. My brain
Every
hurts.
puzzle.
Well, then I suppose a good rest. Hold up.
Game.
And what sort of reward do we get for completing this dungeon?
I missed picking it up because I didn't care, but it is the Black Hood, which is actually a really neat accessory that's basically like an auto dodge matrix cloak. So as long as you have MP, it will automatically dodge pretty much almost every incoming attack. Except against boss fights, which makes sense, obviously.
Okay, that's actually not, I was expecting. That's a lot better than I was expecting, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty cool. But yeah, thanks for having me, friends. Glad I got to showcase some of the weird stuff I get up to in my corner of the internet.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being the voice.
So, if we want to see more shenanigans in this game, where do we find you?
You don't.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I mean I'm Pitioss on here, on Twitch, on Blue Sky. I don't use Twitter, and Discord and I are currently having a beef, so yeah, just track me down on Twitch or, you know, send me smoke signals. You can always just kind of tap Vani or someone knows my location, really. I could have given you my physical address. Where can we find you? Right here. That'd be the most Philadelphian thing I could do.
Hey, next thing you know, Jason Kelsey will show up at your door looking to watch the game.
Hey, I definitely let him in. He's a hero around these parts.
With that, threepup, I think it is yours to take it away.
Alrighty, yes, thank you so much. That run sure was, there was lots of normal things happening, and it was incredible.